Hey guys, we're here for another episode of Movies and News with Campo Reviews. Today's a special episode that we're slipping in a little early. Some big news happened, so we're going to talk about it. I'm here with my boy, Puttersman, the Spider-Man connection, P. Puttersworth, the Parkinson's Patrol.
I don't know what's with the Parkinson. What's up, guys?
It starts with a P.
Yeah, right. It just rhymes. It's a rhyming scheme. You know how it is.
Yeah, so we got Puttyman here from Gamer Podheads. That's a channel where they pod and game.
Exactly.
They play games
Exactly.
in pots. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Yes. Well, our heads are in pots mainly, but they are very, very nice pots. Hand decorated. We do donate the pots that we use on those shows to the needy children of South America. So we hope that we can get enough pots on our heads because we are gamer pot heads to significantly help the children of the world.
Yep, that's pots across South America.
Facts.
Pots
Facts.
across America. All right. So, Henry Cavill, the guy who plays Superman, if you guys don't know who that is, has quit as Superman and will no longer be playing as Superman and Superman and Superman.
Facts.
Uh, I don't know. I think, to me, I heard this and I was like really shocked.
Hmm. Well,
I'm still processing it. It's like I didn't even like him. I don't even I think he was the weakest actor of the entire cast, but he is like he is what I think Superman looks like in real life.
oh no, I agree. No, again, with this whole thing, it is a little bit shocker. I did do a little bit of research, based on the information, but of course, when it comes up with any kind of information, it's based on rumors or the rumor mill. The information that I found was that the that Warner Brothers is actually in talks about making a Supergirl movie that's actually going to feature Supergirl as a team. And effectively, the reason why this has become a situation as well is that with Henry Cavill's age, if you actually know the Superman storyline, he was actually younger than Supergirl when they first, both appeared on Earth. So, that might be that's what the rumor mill is saying that's why. But then at the same time, I've been told that Henry Cavill was the one that said he would leave. So I'm not exactly sure. For me, I'm getting so many mixed answers. I'm not sure what you've read, and what you found out, but unfortunately, that's what I'm hearing. So I don't know exactly which side of the story is amidst this the facts. But no matter what, that it is true that Henry Cavill will not be playing Superman anymore, which just makes, unfortunately, the Warner Brothers, or the DC Cinematic Universe, it makes it more broken, unfortunately, even more, and that's what is hurting this so badly. Like, how do you come back from this? How do you fix this in a storyline to say that? Because again, I don't know if we're okay with spoiler alerts, but if you've seen Justice League, you'll understand why this is confusing.
Yeah. So I never heard the thing you said, but like
Mhm.
in I could never say no to Warner Brothers because they make the dumbest decisions on earth. But and listen, I need everyone to understand. There's lots of Warner Brothers properties that I like, but Warner Brothers
Mhm.
is a special breed of messing things up when it comes to, especially like superhero stuff. Like they like to put their hands in. They're similar to how Fox was for a while. Like, well, Fox ruined
Mhm.
all the Fantastic Four movies.
Yes.
Fox ruined a more than one X-Men movie.
No, for facts. Yeah, that's another conversation that
Yeah,
I can go into another way. But yeah.
but it's like Warner Brothers cannot get out of the way. Like, who
Mhm.
knows how what the difference? Like, I'm not even gonna say I didn't like it because obviously, like, they were good songs. But Suicide Squad was a completely different movie before they did the reshoots. Like, there none of those like songs. Like, it's like at the beginning of the movie is a 20-minute like playlist of songs
Yes.
that was not in the original version.
Yeah, I actually read that. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing that's wild, worrisome because I again amongst the rumor mill, there's the whole thing about 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 Ben Affleck not playing Batman either. And whether or not that the things are broken up and these are the actors saying no, or if it's whether Warner Brothers is just trying to fix things, I'm not exactly sure. But the problem to this whole thing is this: um, so far, outside of my eyes, Wonder Woman, they've messed up a lot of things, and even in Wonder Woman, they messed up with the Justice League. But my whole point to the whole thing is we there's so many broken fragments in this universe that originally when they tried to keep up with Marvel, they thought they can go on the fast pace of it. And we're starting to see what happens when you try to push things too fast or too quickly. And even in general, if they're trying to push along with a Supergirl movie, there's no way to make up for this when we don't have any standalone Batman movies that connect to this universe anymore. So there's nothing there. When it came to Man of Steel, it was the one that started the DC Cinematic Universe, and it's the first movie in the series. So that's the reason why Henry Cavill ended up in Justice League and, of course, Batman v Superman. But the problem is again, if we have the two biggest heroes in the DC universe, both Superman and Batman, broken, you're gonna see more and more of this struggle because they are the two most iconic superheroes in the world. I mean, so for them to not know what their direction they're going with this, and then want to focus on a Supergirl thing, I have no problem with the Supergirl movie. But when you try to ignore what the mistakes you made in the past, and then try to, patch it up, which seems like what they're doing, patching is not the thing. They need to stop and regroup, and even at the starter, I even think, and this is my opinion, they need to sit down and take a break. They need to go, okay, we totally screwed up. If we're going to revamp all this, we need to start all over. We need to stop, keep Justice League as the last movie, and just say we fucked up. We messed up. Excuse my French. We messed up. Things of that nature. So if we messed up in that way, if we need to go back and fix it, take the time. They don't need to be in a hurry. Okay, Marvel's in the right thread. Marvel.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out.
Okay, well, again,
There, you're good.
okay, so just to quickly balance this out, they need to figure out, put their ducks in a row, be true to the fans, and start fixing things because things are already broken. And the way they're patching it, I feel like that there's no way to patch it the way they are. There's way too many patches on these jeans.
Yeah.
We need a new pair of jeans.
Okay. This is I gotta agree with you. I don't want this. Like you've been wearing these jeans. You didn't like them at first because they sucked, and then you work them in a bit, and you're like, "Okay, these are my favorite jeans," and like not, I don't mean these are my favorite movies, but and now you're used to these jeans, you like these jeans, but now it's like, do I want to really throw these jeans away and get new jeans and have to deal with all the growing pains all over again before it gets okay? And no, I don't. So this is what I know for a factual. Aquaman's gonna come out. Aquaman's gonna come out. Wonder Woman's gonna come out. Shazam is gonna come out. Those are the three movies for what do you call it? DC that are already done post production. They're ready to be released, basically. So DC is gonna release these three movies. After that, I've heard from not one but multiple sources that they are gonna go full reboot. So, like, this is the thing that blows my mind. You're gonna lose Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, which is like, you can't do that. You at this point, like, I know by the time they get all their shit together, like let's say 3 years down the line, she's not gonna really fit that role anymore. Like, I feel like she'll be like right at the end of it, like how Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. Like, she'll be aged by that point. And I don't know. The only other option that I had, that I brought this up a few times yesterday, was what if they, after those three movies, the next movie they focus on making is the Flash movie, and you do Flashpoint, okay? And you do a thing where all the timelines get crossed. So somehow Flash, Shazam, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman get sent to Earth 2, and now on that Earth they don't have those characters. So they have to join that Justice League, which would have a different looking Batman and a different looking Superman.
Right.
Right? And you could even do it how people are saying Michael B. Jordan. You could have, like, I'm not saying that's the way you have to weasel in a guy being turning white to black, the character, but you could do that. You could be like, everything on this world is just different but the same. So,
Right.
you know, and that could work. But, like, personally, I don't think Michael B. Jordan could play Superman. I don't see that character in him.
Right.
Not that he's an amazing actor, like, just stupidly good. But I don't see him as Superman. And that there's a lot of rumors right now that he's going to take over Superman.
Yeah, and see the thing is, I have no, again, I'm nothing against it. That's kind of where I'm kind of like struggling, because again, it's about trying to fill in the role. And here's the thing, I like your idea. I like the whole Flashpoint, because the reason I like that is because I do feel it can fix it. Here's where I have a fear. The one thing, like we talked about in the previous podcast, I feel Shazam is a huge deal. I feel that it can possibly fix things to where we can keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, keep our Aquaman, keep our Shazam, and then, like you said, have alternate Superman and Batman. Only thing I see a problem here is when it comes to, like, again, and I know I use Marvel as a guide stone, but because, or a guideline, but because of the guideline they did, if they're gonna do this and do something where they do Flashpoint and the Flash, they need to be patient about this. They need to give Justice League and the whole combining of characters so quickly a little bit of break. They need to let it rest, let it sleep, give it a couple years, bring out these movies, give us some time to enjoy these characters individually, have cameos. You know, Wonder Woman maybe
Yes.
comes into
If
Shazam.
they just smartly marveled this by doing each character's solo films, or at least having a Batman, Superman, a Wonder Woman, which happened obviously, and like maybe a sequel to Superman before we got Batman vs Superman. Like, you could
Hmm.
put the reason that Batman and Superman don't like each other in the second Man of Steel, right? And then you could have done BVS, and which introduced Wonder Woman into their world, even though we already know her, because her
Hmm.
movie was a prequel to her story, right? So
Yep.
now we know Wonder Woman. Now we get to see Wonder Woman with them. Then you go Justice League, or at least, right? I'm not saying, like, that's not crazy out of the ordinary, because you gave us Superman and Wonder Woman, like, not in that order, but and then uh three team up movies.
Yep.
Marvel didn't
Yep.
even give us a team up movie until every single character had a solo movie, and Iron Man had two solo movies before
Hmm.
Avengers, right? Am I right?
No, you're correct. You're correct. Yeah. Actually, Iron Man was the only one that got a sequel before Avengers. It was actually Iron Man. Then, if I remember right, it was Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Um, sorry. Okay.
No, I
Iron
think
Man,
Captain
Captain America.
America was last.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this. It was Iron Man, Incredible Hulk,
Yes.
Thor, then Captain
Yeah,
America.
and then Iron Man
Okay.
2, right?
Exactly. And then we went into Avengers because I actually have the collection. And everything. But and see, that's my thing. Here's the other thing that I feel bad about. And again, let me ask you this real quick on your show. Is it okay if we talk spoilers? Am I okay
I
to
don't
drop
care.
a spoiler?
At this
Okay.
point, if it's not from 2018, I don't see why it would make a
Okay.
difference.
Okay. So we clearly know based in Justice League that Superman came back. Okay. Superman has returned. And the problem with this is we filled in those holes when it comes to Batman and Superman. And based on how we left the movie with, with Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman kind of being the triple threats that lead us off. And now, with us losing a Batman and Superman, we've cut threads with two of the major characters. Now, on my eyes, to be very honest, even though I love Batman and Superman, I feel like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman has been the only thing that's even kept me so focused on the DC universe, and DC cinematic universe. And that's my biggest worry is how are they going to explain why Superman and Batman are no longer in this universe? They're going to have to find a way. And the problem is, I can see that they can do it, especially if they use Flash as a conduit to set that up.
Yes,
The
he's the
problem
only
is
way to do that.
exactly, but the problem is Warner Brothers has their head up their butt so deep that they're not willing to take it out and go, wait a second, we screwed up. Let's fix this. They're more like money, 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 money. And I guarantee you, this I hate to say this, they're going to Deadpool Shazam. What I feel is going to happen is Shazam pulls out all the laughs, all the fun, all the stuff that's going to make them sell toys, then they're going to Shazam the heck out of it. And the problem I see is, I love the character Shazam. I love to see it grow, but the problem is I don't feel Shazam could carry a team in that way because it's a kid. You're supposed to keep that innocence with him, and that's taking that innocence away, especially since
Yeah.
DC's already in that dark territory.
I
So
never
it's like,
I never ever would have wanted to get a Marvel family movie, which apparently they really wanted to push towards. Like, this is the thing. We basically are, it's all over.
yep,
like I know, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, you had plans for Black Adam with The Rock. You already started shooting this movie. You're already starting to get involved in all these things, but now it's all gone. The only, if they do keep the universe going and change the character, it's like, okay, looks wise, and like maybe the way he carried the character, that is the best Superman you've ever had.
right.
But was he the strongest actor in general? No, but he barely got
Mm-mm.
any time to do any acting in any of the movies. Like, he doesn't actually have to act in any of them. It was just go be Superman, and they were like throw things at him. He didn't have to talk. There was no talking. In Man of Steel, he says like 4 words in the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. And see, and what's really funny is, and what makes it even more of a laughter to me, and we talked about this in prior podcasts about how we felt like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in Justice League was dumbed down. And then at the same time, I find it funny that when it comes to Justice League, the only thing that the internet could focus on was the CGI to take away Henry Cavill's mustache. I mean, seriously, if that's the focus that DC is getting out of their fans, why can't they see this and see why this is hurting them? When that's the main focus, that's not a good focus. No one ever goes to watch Guardians of the Galaxy and goes, "Huh? Have you looked at the mustache on a Star Lord? Heck, he had a mustache, but no one was making a big deal out of it.
Yeah,
Why?
and
They were solid.
I get that, and like, there's so many elements here. So this is a question I wanted to ask you before I have some more stuff. But
Hmm.
so if Aquaman comes out, like, this is, you're right. Like, when I really deeply think about Aquaman, like, it has the potential. Like, Shazam is the key one, but Aquaman has the potential to make or break them right now at this point, because if Aquaman comes out and gets like I don't even like using Rotten Tomatoes as an example, but if it comes out and it gets like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, like, I don't even think what happens in Shazam at this point matters now because of the Henry Cavill situation. If Henry Cavill was still Superman, I think Aquaman wouldn't have affected them that much because we know it's just a stupid movie.
Right.
But if Aquaman tanks, I think it's all over, no matter how good the other movies do. But if Aquaman comes out and gets good reviews, if Shazam comes out and gets good reviews, and if Wonder Woman comes out and lives up to the quality of the first movie, do you scrap it?
See, that's what I'm concerned about. Because see, here's the thing, there's still many things that many tangible things that even people are still looking at. Like when it came to Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, it was fantastic. But of course, there was still the little flaws that you can mention as far as like the main villain in the movie and how he looked. But then I look at it and I go, well, you know, again, like you said yourself, taking something like Flash and making the Flashpoint thing is going to be the only reason because we already know the setup on his speed. We already know based on Superman lore that Superman can use the speed to turn back time. So they could do that with the Flash and set up something for something happening with Superman, or maybe bringing him back to life has decrept him and he killed Batman, giving us something to where they say, okay, we need to fix this. Things have gone wrong, and you're correct. Aquaman is their basic saving grace. My worry is looking at how Aquaman looks. Unless they find a way to make make that not be so set in realism. Because the thing is taking Batman and turning it dark. That's a good thing. Okay. Even maybe a little bit with Superman because you don't want to see that, but at the same time you want to cheer for him not to be that bad guy. So that's where that darkness can come. Aquaman, the problem with Aquaman, and the thing is I've always known this. I've always known that there was a much stronger Aquaman, like the one they're portraying in the movies, and there was a more aggressive, not the blonde haired, blue eyed one. But a lot of people don't know that. That's the problem. So they're just getting to know Aquaman. So if they go from this strikingly handsome, savage-looking Aquaman, and they make this Aquaman movie and make it more lighthearted and fun, that's going to be okay. But the problem is you're giving us two different things. And me as a fan, whenever I'm excited about a new Marvel movie coming out, I end up watching like the last three movies to get prepared for that movie. So I'm all set up for that movie. Me, when it comes to DC movies now, I dread going back to look back at those movies, to watch Justice League. Heck, I haven't bought Justice League yet and bought it, added to my collection because of that fear of like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't want to prepare myself because I don't want to sit through that. And that's really bad. That hurts me so badly to say that.
Justice League was pretty good.
It was okay, but that's my whole point. I still can't look past single things, little things. Like, for example, dumbing down Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, making Wonder Woman so slow, like making her a ditzy person in that movie, really broke my heart because I was so invested in Wonder Woman in that first movie. I felt for her. Gal Gadot was a beautiful woman, but not just a beautiful woman. She took that character and she was like she was like girl power in that shit. But not even just girl power. She's like all power. I'm here to save people. And then we go to Justice League where we have her as, oh, okay. Like that, it was dumbed down. And then, of course, we had Aquaman that was like, yes, awesome. And it was exciting. But it's like, I felt like there's no connection.
Yeah.
The bigger thing about Marvel is when we talk about Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, throughout every single movie, he's still that cocky Iron Man that we love. He never changes the way he is. When it comes to Warner Brothers and making these movies, when they get these directors don't. I don't. I feel like the people that made Justice League never even watched Batman vs Superman, never even watched Man of Steel, never even watched Wonder Woman. And that's the problem. If they're not looking into the other works when they bring all these other characters in, they are breaking. They're making so much fragmented. And when it comes to like, even Sony, when they did Spider-Man and they did Iron Man in Spider-Man Homecoming, they did a great job of making it show him as the Tony Stark that we know and love. It felt like Tony Stark. And it
Yeah.
was a totally different actor. It was a totally different company, but it still worked. And that's my point. Warner Brothers has it all in one box. It's not like there's a Sony and a Disney box. There's one freaking box. So how hard is it to keep all that stuff in one box? But for some reason, they're taking people out and putting them in separate boxes. Going, no, 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 I don't want Batman and Superman mixed in together. We can't have that happen. It's like keep them together in one box so they have a common thread and they stay together. But you don't when they're in the same box. Don't don't force them to be together.
Yeah,
Let them
I
have
agree.
let
And
them have their time. They want to merge with each other and connect with each other. They can go to those corners and meet them. But
they,
they
sorry, go.
I'm just saying it bothers me because I had so much faith because the whole Warner Brothers Disney feud, I would call it, was just felt just like Marvel versus DC back in the old days in the 90s when they did that comic. I still have that whole thing where like, I love Bugs Bunny like I like Mickey Mouse, but they both have a rivalry best cartoon character of all time. That kind of thing still exists there. But I was hoping the same thing for the DC and Marvel universe. And Warner Brothers, oh, they just don't know what they're doing properly. And I feel like what needs to happen is they need to take the person that's in control of all this and find somebody new.
They
And
they they need to replace a lot of the people at the top with newer, more like millennial people that understand. Like you have a bunch of 6-year-old guys up there that are trying to make. They don't even know what they're doing. Like I'm not even gonna say try to make, and yet they want their hands. They have their hands all over this shit, and it's like you put Jeff Johns in charge. Everyone got happy. Then you took Jeff Johns out of the position. Then it's like you made Scott Snyder the guy, which I was very upset about. But then you took Scott Snyder out, and now I'm hearing reports that Joss Whedon has been kicked out as well.
yep,
So
and
I don't know. Henry Cavill's out. You should have got on your hands and knees and begged him not to leave. Like you just ruined your entire universe because now
mhm.
not only that, Ben Affleck already didn't want to be Batman because you duped him. You tricked him into being Batman by telling him they would release his movies under the Warner Brother umbrella if he became Batman. They didn't even help him do that last movie when he wanted to do it. and now they're saying they're not letting him do any more movies. So he doesn't want to be Batman anymore. Now that Henry Cavill's out there, they were friends. He's upset about the situation. That's the report. And now he wants to leave even faster because he was supposed to be on for one more movie at least. The guy who plays Flash, Ezra Miller, is apparently very upset about Henry Cavill leaving because apparently they're friends. And it's like, I don't think... This is the report I heard. This is the early reports. Now, Warner Brothers released a bunch of stuff saying that it's not true, but Warner Brothers is full of shit. So is any other corporation. I would not believe Disney. Disney had the same thing happen. People are going to come out and be like, oh, you're so biased. You're so biased. The same thing just happened with Disney. You fired James Gunn. Look at the backlash from that. All the Guardians, the Guardian guys don't want to do another movie. You can't. Kevin Feige's not stupid. You know what's going to happen? If the Guardian guys don't come back to do Guardians 3, Guardians are done from the whole thing. He's not going to recast the Guardians. And they're way too late in the game to reboot, so that's not happening. DC is early enough to reboot, but I still think it's a stupid idea. Anyways, if you lose those guys, plus all the bad blood you've built by hiring directors, firing directors, so many directors have quit. You brought on Matthew Vaughn, who's a great director. Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class and what's that movie, The Kingsman or whatever it's called.
Right.
And he was supposed to do the Batman movie. And now, or no, he was supposed to direct Man of Steel 2, sorry.
Yeah.
And it was getting all set up to do this. And now you screwed it up. And like, to me, my opinion, after Superman 1, okay, you wanted to make all the mistakes you made, that's fine. After BVS, you're not stupid enough to make Justice League movie, because everyone knows you can't have Justice League without Superman. Not to mention you put Superman in all of the media material leading up to the movie. All of the commercials, all of the pictures had Superman in it. Okay? So there's not even you're not even twisting on us. We know that Superman is coming back. What they should have done is made Man of Steel 2 before Justice League, made it the movie of right after BVS, so he's dead, and you make it the Reign of Superman movie, and you can make it fucking 3 hours long if you want, where you have Superboy, Steel, Eradicator, and Cyborg Superman come to Earth, all trying to be Superman. Batman can be there too, and Wonder Woman. They don't know what to do, and then Superman can come back to life halfway through the movie and fuck all of them up. And then you could have put Superman in Justice League, and it would have been fine. They're so like adamant on rushing. Like, I don't think it's time for Shazam or an Aquaman movie yet, but we're gonna get it, and I'm happy because I love Shazam. But I'm not. It's like, look how far Marvel went before you got the first weird movie, which was Guardians. Which, if Guardians didn't turn out good, I guarantee you we don't get Doctor Strange or Ant-Man after that.
Exactly.
And it went good, and it turned out fine.
Yeah, now I wanted to add, because of the whole James Gunn thing, I agree. I was upset about that. I saw the petition where they actually wrote that they wanted James Gunn back and they wouldn't continue with the characters. And here's the thing. If that was to happen, I'm very saddened if they don't get to continue with a Guardians of the Galaxy. But here's the thing about the thing with Marvel and everything. Oops, they made a mistake, but based on their Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially with what happened in Infinity War, which I'm not going to say anymore, but based on what happened in Infinity War, they can fix it and have it move on without another Guardians movie and continue with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It actually can be fixed. Yeah. The potential of DC being fixed, yes, it can be fixed as well, but my gosh,
it will be a facelift of a fix.
Exactly. Like, we're talking about maybe a little collagen here and there in Marvel. When it comes to over here, I'm talking about we need a whole new face, Mission Impossible style. Okay, we need a whole new face that you don't even know who the person is, and that's the problem. Is I feel like that they need this facelift, but I feel like it's going to go wrong. Like that I can't remember her name, that Catwoman lady they called the Catwoman that looked hideous. When it comes to the plastic surgery, I feel like they're going to try to patch it up, but based on Warner Brothers records with these DC movies, they're having trouble doing it. And I think the major thing in my eyes, or my opinion on this, and the reason why they're messing up so much, is because there is no flow between movies and there's no communication between movies.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. I agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah, because at least with the Marvel Universe, there's a whole thing of like, okay, when they talk about a script, they say we have to have this involved, we have to open this, there has to be some kind of like, Infinity Stone in here, so you got to put that in there. Find a way to put that in there, and then you can make it your own movie, and
Exactly,
it
I
worked
get it.
out that way. Yeah,
Properly
uh,
cameo.
exactly, exactly. And DC just does not know how to do that. They're like their cameos are full fledged V versus V type thing. You know what I mean? Or no cameo at all. It's like with Wonder Woman, no cameo. But then we get into Batman versus Superman. Oh, we got Batman and Superman. Well, shoot, let's bring Wonder Woman in this
Yeah,
bit. Oh,
I
make sure in
agree.
the background.
Oh, make sure
Yeah,
you get Lex Luthor in there too.
yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, we also got to make sure that in the background they can see Cyborg and Flash. We need to tease everything. It's like, no, you only need to tease one thing if you have to tease anything. And then that tease will lead to another movie, and that movie will tease another thing. And then you're just adding a link to where everyone goes, oh my God, that last movie teased the Flash. But then I went to go see Flash, and that teased Aquaman. Oh, now I want to see Aquaman. But the problem is, they're like instead of teasing one thing, they're like, okay, we're going to give you every color of M&M instead of giving you just the blue one and then giving you an orange one and saying, wait till you see the next colors of M&Ms we're going to give you. It's going to blow your mind. And instead, they're all like, here's all of them. And it's like going on a first date. I do not want somebody that's going to tell me everything about their life on that first date, because on that first date, you tell me everything about you. There's nothing else to talk about, and that's exactly what Warner Brothers does to DC. They give us everything at one time, thinking we're going to be happy, and then when we say you gave us too much, and at the same time, there's no plot, there's no
Yeah.
substance to what you gave us, and that's the problem. And they're not going to listen to the fans. Unfortunately, when it comes to us as fans, they're not going to come and watch this and go, "Hey, they're right." Because even if they did come and watch this and they found this their way to this video, the problem is they're still going to have their butts up, their heads up their butts,
Yeah.
and they're not going to
Well,
listen.
that's a similar situation to me. Like, not as dire of a situation, but a similar situation where they're forcing things now. Like, we got the original movie similar to Man of Steel, which I don't think that was a great movie. A lot of people really like it, but it gave you enough hope to say, wow, this universe could be really good. Okay?
Right.
And then they forced and forced and forced and forced everything on you. To me, that's what's happening right now with Star Wars. It's getting too intense. Like, the showrunner on Star Wars needs to chill out. We don't need a Star Wars movie every year. We talked about this already. Pace this
Mm-hmm.
stuff out. Stop shoving it, ramming it down my throat. Like, ridiculous. Like, it's crazy. And then DC is doing it times 20. And the problem is,
Yeah.
at least Star Wars movies are 100% still quality. Like, as much as everyone seemed to hate Solo, I really don't understand it because it is not a bad movie. Um, anyways, so I have a statement here and then two questions after that.
Okay.
So in DC, you have uh, Superman now, Batman, Cyborg, Flash, um, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. I don't know if I said Aquaman. You have Alfred. You have Lex Luthor. You have Lois Lane. We've seen Deathstroke. We've seen a multiple amount of villains. We have everyone from the Suicide Squad side, including Joker. So you've dipped in your toe into all of your major characters, minus like Green Lantern and like Martian Manhunter, which there's already talks about stuff like that. Okay. Um,
Okay.
and now that you're this deep, like you've spent so much time establishing everybody, even though you didn't do a good job of it. Okay, so here's your two questions. One, have they come too far to reboot it? And
Well,
and two, if you do reboot it, is it actually worth it? Like, would you rather continue on the way that it's going and just have your replacements, or would you rather go full reboot? But first question was, is it worth it to reboot it at this point?
Well, as far as the rebooting and everything, it's all going to come down to, like you said, the Aquaman movie. If I go to see Aquaman and it just feels awkward, see the problem is that with Shazam is good, but again, Shazam in my eyes is kind of like what I use the Deadpool reference, not just because of the comedy, but I'm talking about the character itself. Deadpool was never really a major X-Men character. He was always his own little thing, okay? But he got brought into the X-Men universe and it worked based on how Deadpool works. Shazam, on the other hand, I don't feel is going to work in the same way. So we are dependent on Aquaman to do this. And see, the thing is to be very honest with you, Aquaman is a very hard movie to sell to people based on past with the blonde hair, blue eyed. Also with keeping it underwater and keeping it realistic. Honestly, if they were to do this, I this whole time I've always felt doing something more like Green Arrow would put you back in this spot of like Batman, of giving you that whole they feel more like a down to earth hero. They feel more like a hero that we can understand, and at the same time you can do some awesome things with Green Arrow by putting it to where he's just a human that's a sharpshooter, and that would be a leap that something like DC could have done to go overshadow like a Hawkeye because they never made a Hawkeye movie. And that could make you say, hey, something like this can go on its own and work on its own merits. But the
He's
problem,
also a much bigger and way more uh like a character with way more behind him with Green Arrow compared to
exactly.
Hawkeye.
Exactly. And see, you got all these characters that you can use in the Green Arrow universe that could be amazing. You know what I mean? And that's my whole point to the thing is I the problem I see is they look at more the fantastical when it comes to this. They're all like, "Wow, Superman and Batman are our big ones, so let's make sure that we do a big movie with both of those characters." But then when that started going bad, they were going to look at what more the fantastical. I'm one of those people that I do like the fantastical. I like the major stuff, but we all know that when it came to like Hulk movies, they haven't worked on their own. When it came to Hulk as a sidekick with Thor and Thor Ragnarok, it was amazing. It was funny. It was hilarious because people could finally got to see a version of the Hulk they've always wanted to see, more down to earth. I'm more broken a little bit. You can tell I'm broken, kind of
Hmm.
Hulk and everything. And having a broken character makes it more appealing to you. The problem is there's no breaking. These characters are way too powerful. They're way too strong. So when you want to make them feel more or less, or bring them down to their knees, you're putting way too much weight on the character being something massive and huge. And that's the biggest thing I see is they didn't lead up to a massive character like a Thanos or anything like that. They shot Thanos into or their version of Thanos in the DC universe, and they're already showing us a hint of dark side and everything. It's like, no, wait a second, you are going way too fast in this, and you need to come back down to earth. Superman may be an alien, and you want to point your lives on that, but the thing is, we all know Superman.
Yeah.
Every person on this earth knows Superman. So give Superman a break and don't try to push it. And at the same time, don't push your actors to the point. Henry Cavill probably would have stuck around and they would have said, hey, we're going to give you some good money just to make some cameos here and there as Superman so we can get the ball rolling and then set up for your movie. And then, of course, when your movie comes out, it'll be huge because they'll be ready to have you back.
Well,
But they couldn't set up that way.
I heard this is another thing that I was going to talk about in a bit, but I heard that the whole thing came down to uh they wanted Superman as a cameo in Shazam. And I'm
Hmm.
talking like a cameo to the point of they just see Superman on TV, the two kids at some point, or like that's how small of a cameo I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah.
They didn't want to pay him barely anything. They were like, it's nothing, just do it for free. And like, okay, I get it. But at this point, Henry Cavill, as not amazing of an actor as he is, but he's been Superman for a while. He did The Man from Uncle. He did one other thing I don't remember, and he was the villain in Mission Impossible, and he's
Mhm.
really good in Mission Impossible. Like he's actually like one of the best parts of the movie. So he's not a small fry anymore. So
Right.
you're gonna go and you're gonna lowball this guy, knowing that he's famous, he's like super popular now. Treat him like a piece of shit. So basically, what I heard is that they blah blah blah. They told him if he doesn't do it, they're gonna fire him. So he said, "Fuck it, I quit."
Wow.
Do you understand? Like
Yeah.
they pushed him to leave. He didn't leave because he didn't like what they were doing. They pushed him out.
Yeah, and see again, this is just bad practice. Now, the only thing I could say, if they are going to fix anything, is they're going to have to find a different way to bring Batman and Superman, like we talked about before, like you had mentioned about the Flashpoint. But the major thing I see here is I think, and this is my eyes, the thing is, I really want DC Universe to succeed, and in order for it to succeed, I really think I need a break. I myself am wore out. For me to have a conversation like this, and whenever I talk Marvel, whenever we have Marvel podcasts, I'm all enthusiastic. I'm excited. And then it's like when I have a DC podcast, I'm trying to redeem on how good Ben
Yeah.
Affleck was as Batman, or
This
I'm trying,
was not a good news.
yeah. And that's the biggest thing is for me personally, I think that they need to go, okay, we need a break. We own the comic books. Superman and Batman, as far as comic book characters, cartoons, their animated movies are great. Stick with the animation, stick with those things, stick with the TV shows, work on that right now. Make it continue to grow those characters. Maybe even if you really want to have a Superman thing, maybe make another type of Smallville, or at the same time, let's have another Lois and Clark something. Give us something new that might be on television, but stop with the movies. Because what you need to do is you need to give us some time to breathe, forget about these movies, just like I had to forget about like the X-Men movies, like how we're kind of getting out of that situation, how they tried to revamp them with new people. They kind of need to do the same thing that I feel Disney is going to do with Fox. They're going to wean it out, give it time, and then start introducing the characters. They can do the same thing in the Warner Bros. They can give it time, wait for a moment, give us a few years, maybe even three, then come back with a brand new trailer for a brand new movie, electrify us, make it the most amazing thing, Batman, whatever it could be. Maybe even make it a Green Arrow movie, make it something explosive and exciting, and then have a cameo of a guy and go, who is this guy? And he goes, by
Okay.
the way, my name's Clark Kent, and that introduces a new
Yeah,
world.
that this
You
is
know,
smart. Okay? This is smart because Aquaman and Flash, I'm sorry, did not deserve their own movie.
mm,
They should be permanent cameo people. Like you can have the Superman movie with Aquaman, or you could have did a movie of them together or something. Like I don't know what you do, okay? But
yeah.
they are your Black Widow, they are your Hawkeye, they are your Hulk. They don't need their own movie. They
Hmm.
can be part of something else because they like Flash is not interesting enough. Okay,
No, no.
Aquaman is too ridiculous.
Hmm.
As much as I like him, and like, it's just too much. Okay, so you have another thing. You're talking about cameos, right?
Hmm.
Building the characters properly. I get it. We didn't get Captain Marvel, but we keep getting hinted at Captain Marvel, and then the movie is not going to affect what's happening now. So before Captain Marvel is going to save us, they're going to explain to us why Captain Marvel is going to save us. You understand? And
Right.
it's like, uh, with their whole thing here, and I don't know, like maybe you soft reboot it like Fox did, and you just keep X-Men going with the continuous storyline, but except it goes backwards in time and like builds
Hmm.
from there or something. I don't know what the hell you do there, but like you're making a Batgirl movie. Your next two movies slated are Batgirl and Supergirl, and nothing wrong with that. I get it, okay? But this is the thing. This is why Warner Brothers sucks. DC made Wonder Woman, okay? They changed a lot of stuff. They gave us the female superhero movie. Marvel gave us Black Panther, the black superhero movie. So both sides did the right thing, okay?
Yep.
Now, WB is like, oh, we're smart. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cast Black Superman, and we're smart. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop making all the movies we plan to do, and we're gonna make Supergirl and Batgirl
Mm-mm.
because women are popular and black people are popular. No, this is not. But that's how they think. I swear to you. It's
Yeah,
like
I agree.
they made Black Panther and Marvel to make a Black Panther movie. It was the next logical step. The fact that it had so much cultural significance, I don't think factored into whether or not they were gonna make the movie. I think the movie was gonna happen no matter what. You know, understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like Wonder Woman was gonna happen no matter what. It wasn't. They weren't making Wonder Woman to appeal just to steal women. Like obviously, I'm sure that was somewhere in there, but
Yeah.
it had to come. Eventually, the Wonder Woman movie had to happen. Now you're just trying to take these things and ram them down our throats.
Hmm.
So it's
And
like,
see,
you guys like women, right? I know what we'll do. We'll put them in skimpy little outfits.
exactly.
Watch. If they're not directed by women, like watch how poorly. Like you took Joss Whedon out of the Batgirl. I don't know. Like Supergirl has a TV show. Do we need Supergirl right now?
Yeah. And see, you're saying exactly what I thought about when I saw the Supergirl thing. Here's the thing: when it comes to the whole thing with Black Panther, they didn't make Black Panther because understand the idea of Black Panther was actually brought up back when they were going to do in Blade. They were going to actually there was talks of Wesley Snipes playing
Yeah,
Black
yeah, he
Panther.
wrote a Black Panther movie actually.
Exactly. And the thing is they felt it wasn't right at that time. But the biggest thing I want to say with Black Panther is a lot of people don't realize there's been the setup for this. The setup has been there long since the first Iron Man, because if you remember right, Coulson actually comes in, picks up the Captain America shield and everything,
Yeah.
and he talks about prototype. And then when a Cap actually gets his shield, they talk about the vibranium. There was always a setup for the vibranium.
Yeah.
They were like,
They
it's the
actually
only
mentioned
vibranium.
Wakanda a few times in the early
Exactly.
stuff.
And see, that's my whole point. Marvel's smart because they hinted the stuff and they were like, well, for Marvel, what I've noticed big thing about them, especially with what Kevin Feige is doing, is what they do is they basically say, hey, we're going to sprinkle some stuff in here and see how you guys react. And then if that works later down the road, we'll start teasing a little
I
more.
agree.
And the problem is with DC, they're more like, oh, you like women? Even like, for example, Wonder Woman. The reason Wonder Woman is such a great kind of character is because of how what's the word I'm looking for? How iconic and well known she is. Plus, she's always when it comes to female superheroes, she's the first one that pops up in mind. Everyone thinks of Wonder Woman. It's always Wonder Woman. That's why Wonder Woman was such a successful thing. I mean, not just saying the movie wasn't good. The movie was fantastic. It's just people know Wonder Woman.
I agree.
People also know Supergirl and Batgirl, but there's not that whole tension of, there's a reason why Marvel hasn't given a Black Widow movie. It's not because
But it was
Scarlett
gonna
Johansson.
happen. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, but of course, but that's the point. Marvel knows. They said, listen, we understand that you guys want a Black Widow movie, and we understand that Scarlett Johansson is great, but we're paying her enough to make these cameos because we know how special she is and how great of a character she is. But we're going to do it when the time is right. And right now, us making a female character a superhero movie just because we have a female character superhero doesn't mean we need to
Yes.
make it.
Look at the way they introduced Wasp.
I
Like
know, I
the
know.
first movie, it was like there we're just gonna talk about it, but you are gonna get nothing remotely like that. And then when they saw the reaction to it, they're like, okay, now we have to put Wasp in it.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the point. They sprinkle. They always sprinkle and see how people react.
Yeah,
And when people go crazy, then they know exactly
and
what their
that's
next
right.
step is.
And the thing that I agree with you on that is smart because Marvel will be like, and we're not talking comic books here, guys. We're talking movies only. Okay,
Mhm.
Marvel will be like, all right, see that picture in the background on the wall? That's like a map of Africa and it has Wakanda. This is just me making an example. Then they see the Wakandan embassy. Then they talk about the price of whatever in Wakanda. Like it's little things that get mentioned throughout it. Okay, Batman. I mean, DC is like, this is Jimmy Olsen, and then a thing pops up on the side and says Jimmy Olsen, introduced in comic books 1934, Superman's best friend, and it's like, why? Like, I don't. You could have just been like, you could have walked by a desk that had a nameplate that said Jimmy Olsen. You understand what I'm saying? That's
Exactly.
Marvel.
And of course, if you put that Jimmy Olsen on there, or for example, you have like Superman talk about, oh, this brings back to the day or he says something like, I've always wanted my own dog. And that's it. That's it. They leave it alone. It goes on. And people are like, is he talking about crypto? Is he talking about crypto? But the way our DC does it, they're more like, I think I need to get a dog. Oh, look, a super dog. It's called crypto now. Come with me. Let's fly together. And it's like,
There'd be a picture on
dude.
the wall of like a dog with a cape hanging, and people would be like, "What was that? That was my old dog, Crypto. He was introduced in the comic books in 1957."
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's
I
like
get it.
they can't hint.
No,
They can't have Superman just say I want a dog. They literally have to say I want a dog. I used to have one. Here's where he was before. This is what he looked like. Let me go with you and give you the dimensions. And
they
it's like
do
could you
though. They do, however, they do own the monopoly on female characters. I think because if you think like top five biggest female superhero characters, obviously Wonder Woman's number one by like. There's not even the gap between them is so big there might as not well be anyone else.
right.
Then obviously Catwoman, Batgirl. Those are right away like off my head, and then probably nowadays Harley Quinn
Hmm.
and Supergirl. That's like immediately what I think of. I don't even. I would not until if pre Marvel movies, not Marvel comics, pre Marvel MCU. No one would have even said Captain Marvel or
Black Widow.
or Black Widow. If anything, you would have got something from X-Men like Storm or Jean Grey. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
Mary
But that's
Jane Watson. Like,
like, but that's the point. Marvel has been smart about it, and that's the reason why this Captain Marvel movie. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to turn out to be great. People are not going to know this character, but what's going to happen is, first and foremost, her name is Captain Marvel. Already, right there, it has the Marvel name in there, so right there, they knew that's already going to make people go, "Oh, sounds familiar," even though it doesn't sound familiar.
I
But the
agree.
problem is, when it comes to DC, they go, "Yes, Wonder Woman sounds familiar," but then once that familiarity comes in, they go, "Oh, well, then let's shove more things down your
Yeah.
throat that you might be familiar with," instead of saying, "Hey, let's hint at this and then see how you react to it." Because, for example, if they were to sprinkle a little bit of Supergirl in a Superman movie, like a second Man of Steel movie, and then people said, "Oh, cool, whatever," then they know, okay, people aren't ready for a
Uh
Supergirl
huh.
movie. But then if they would have sprinkled it in, they're like, oh my God, oh, I'm so excited, and started freaking out. Then they knew, okay, we need to go ahead and
You
get
know,
Supergirl started.
instead of doing Batman versus Superman, like I'm not saying you waste Darkseid yet. I think obviously it's too soon. But there's a movie called I don't know if it's Batman Superman Public Enemies. I'm not 100%. Which is it's pretty good. So Supergirl comes to Earth, and Superman is teaching her like the ways of Earth, and then like she can't handle it because she's like a teenager still, so she like takes off, and then Batman and Superman end up fighting Darkseid, and then she has to come and save them. So,
Right.
but you could have did a movie like that, or like your idea, even Superman, a Superman movie, where halfway through the movie she lands. So now he's dealing with having to fight this guy, plus making sure she doesn't get exposed. And then
Yeah.
she helps him at the end, no costume. Okay, she comes and helps Superman at the end, no costume. Then the next movie is her finally being Supergirl with a costume and and trying to learn how to be on Earth. Like now we've established her. We don't need a movie
Mhm.
of her landing because she already landed. I don't need an origin story, man. No more origin stories. If you want origin stories, put them in another movie, like how we just did it.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's yeah, exactly. And that's my whole point. The thing is when it comes to origin stories are made for those movies that people don't quite
Ant
know too
Man,
much
Doctor
about.
Strange,
Exactly.
Guardians, Captain
But what
Marvel.
but like when you're dealing with like Iron Man, people didn't know who Iron Man was, but the thing is, people knew who the Hulk was. So when they really started pushing the MCU, that was their time. Because like I remember, even though like it's a lot of slack, the Incredible Hulk movie, I loved it,
So did
and
I.
even in that movie, they did do a kind of a thing, but it was only in the intro. They basically did it like the old TV show, and all of a sudden we find him trying to calm his nerves down. There was no origin. It worked perfectly in my eyes,
Yeah,
and
and
that's the problem.
you know how it works too. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you know how that works too. It's actually really funny. If you watch the other Hulk, I think it's just called Hulk,
Yeah,
the
that's
the
Ang
Eric
Lee's.
Bana one.
Yep.
If you watch that movie, the way this movie starts, you can you can actually count that almost as an MCU movie because you can watch that movie. It's not the greatest, but I still like it. Personally,
No.
it's I think one of the more underrated superhero movies because like it really has a comic book feel to it. But anyways,
Right.
you could watch that movie and go right into Incredible Hulk, and it almost feels like it's a second movie because
Exactly.
at the end he runs away and
Hmm.
at the beginning of Incredible Hulk, he's been hiding in Brazil for like 10 years. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's so funny that they do that, and you think about that, but that wasn't even in those situations. It's not really a timely accident. That Marvel has seen. Hey, people already know this. We don't have to shove it down. Just like the Spider-Man thing, they knew with Spider-Man, we don't have to do the whole, you know, responsibility thing. We've done that twice already. Stop with it. Let it go. And then Spider-Man: Homecoming was amazing to me. I already knew how Spider-Man came to be, and you know, I'm sorry, my mom knows how Spider-Man came to be,
Oh
and my
yeah,
mom
it's
is not a
like
comic.
Batman. It's the Batman thing. If
Exactly.
there's three superheroes, and if anyone disagrees with me, I'm sorry. You're just an idiot. The three superheroes, I never want another origin story. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. No more origin
Yes.
stories, please.
Yes.
And like
And it's funny.
even in was it Batman versus Superman? The way that they
Yep.
incorporated the backstory of Batman into that opening credit scene was actually really smart. Because people who don't know now, you fucking know. In 10 seconds, I didn't have to waste part of my movie learning that. And
Yeah.
Zack Schneider is the world's greatest. I hate the guy so much, but he is the world's greatest opening credits, like, director. Every movie, his opening credits are like unbelievable.
And see that's the thing. At least when we look at some of that stuff, you know, there's little pieces of some of these movies that you can say, oh, these are great. Because even when I watch Batman versus Superman, even to this day, even though so many things that bother me, Wonder Woman's entrance as Wonder Woman was amazing to
Oh my
me. You know what I
god,
mean?
that's the best part of the
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. And that's my whole
And
point.
everything
Is
Batman.
yeah, exactly. And see, that's my whole point. They did that nicely, but the problem was again, there was a whole thing about fitting everything. And if we would have just took Superman out of the equation, did another Batman movie, but also still have him mad at Superman, but lead up into a Batman versus Superman thing. Like what they could have done is had another Batman movie that was right alongside Man of Steel, have Batman do his thing here back and forth. Then all of a sudden, towards the end, we see the scene where Superman's fighting Zod, and that's when Ben Affleck's character as Batman reacts to it, and he goes, "Oh, not in my neighborhood,"
You
and
could
then
have
it ends there.
introduced him in Man of Steel. You're like
Exactly.
you're thinking like on these levels that I don't understand. Like, no, I'm not putting you down, but like this is not rocket fucking science.
Yeah,
How
right.
how do you have
Exactly.
a group of people getting paid millions of dollars and they can't think of these things?
And
Because
then
it
and
was
then
so easy for you to show us what happened in BVS, but you couldn't just show us a little bit of that just to give us the idea that we know this, for to get ready for this.
yeah, and that would have been more hype because the thing is, I remember that people were making a big deal when I Am Legend they had the poster on one of the buildings of Batman vs
Yeah.
Superman, and yeah, that's a good tease, but that tease should have been in a actual Batman or Superman movie,
Yeah.
but not the poster. But what I mean, teasing that, like you said yourself, at the end of Man of Steel,
Hmm.
have Bruce Wayne all upset, but then we could have even went back if they wanted to introduce Batman and have Batman again. Then they could have had that at the end of Batman, what would lead into Batman
Well,
or Superman, which means now we have a Batman movie, we have a Superman movie. We are leading into a DC Universe movie. But at the same time, next they could have done Wonder Woman, then had Wonder Woman come in. There's so many ways they could have done it to lead into Batman vs. Superman, then Justice League. Because Batman vs. Superman could have potentially
yeah.
been their Civil War.
Yeah,
It
and
could have.
you could have did
That's
that. I agree with you, and you should have done it later on. Um, this is the thing. So, DC BVS, okay, was not amazing. Uh, Suicide Squad was not amazing. The sad part is both of them released DVDs with extended cuts, and both of the extended cuts were way better than the regular
yeah.
version. So
I
to
own both
me,
of
all
them. Yep.
that's telling me is that the studio execs don't know what they're doing because they're removing the parts of the movie that are good, that help the movie make sense, just to please themselves or the general audience. Like, people are gonna watch Batman. People are gonna
Hmm.
watch Superman, no matter what. You don't need to make sure little kids are gonna watch this because people. It's Batman. There's gonna be little kids, no matter what.
Yep,
You
exactly.
understand? You scared away your core audience by making these movies so dark and depressing that nobody wanted to see it. And then to fix that, you tried to ramp it up to the point where it was like comedically bad, and like,
Hmm.
I don't know.
And see, here's a prime example. Here's the thing.
Okay, hold on.
I'm
Final thoughts. Give me this in final thoughts.
Okay, so the final thought is this: the best way that I can explain is this: when it comes to Warner Brothers, they clearly don't know their own characters. When it comes to Dark, yes, you want to have Batman Dark. That is a persona. But with Superman, Superman is like Captain America in that way. You need to have him more of like a truth and justice in America way type of character. All about the American dream, about being a hero, or just being a dream of anybody, wherever you may be. Just the whole thing of feeling like he's the one to be that hero, and kids look up to him, while kids may be like, oh, Batman's cool because he scares people. They don't know how to keep that separate those two, while we have people like Marvel that know how to. So, and to end this all, basically, on my point of view, I think that we need a break. To be honest with you, I think that Warner Brothers needs to take a break from the DC universe, give us some time, do the TV shows, do the anime series, and do the comic books, even video games possibly. Just don't make a Superman 64. But anyway, and just to make sure to go back later on after a few years, give us some rest, and come back and reboot it. And I think at that point, if they do it right, they can potentially be as good as Marvel, even beat Marvel, because we're talking about Superman and Batman here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I feel.
All right. So I just want a yes or no answer from you. Nothing else.
Okay.
Do you reboot?
You need a time frame for me on that one because if you're talking about
Just
right
in
now,
general, it's yes or no. Do you reboot?
no,
Do you
no,
want reboot?
no. At this point, no.
All right. Okay, that was actually good. All right. So anyways, my final thoughts here. DC, Warner Brothers, you goofed up. You goofed up big. And you can't fix this one unless you get Henry Cavill back. Without Henry Cavill, the ship falls apart. I don't want reboot. I vote no for reboot. But do we need reboot? I kind of say yeah. I don't want it. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe. And thank you, Putty. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Just the channel, Gamer Potheads. Come check us out.
Check him out. He'll probably, maybe he'll share this video. I don't know. He's a nice guy. All right, guys. Thank you. Peace out.